We're in Olympic National Park, and we're also very near the ocean. If we listen, we can hear it. This is called Beach Trail 4. That's just the beach's name. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, low tide. We're going to go looking at some tide pools. Twice a day, the tide recedes, leaving whatever little critters were swimming around trapped in tide pools. You can tell I'm from Southern California because I'm wearing a sweatshirt and it's June already here. People that live on the Olympic Peninsula think this is great weather. A little cold, but that's my problem. I'm a wimp. It's a beautiful day here. It's not raining, the skies are blue, and I'm really looking forward to looking at some tide pools. We've got two kinds of barnacles here. We've got acorn and thatch barnacles. Thatch barnacles are interesting, to me at least, because they look like little thatch houses, the critter in there. And it's their feet that come out during high tide to catch through siphoning along with these mussels. The little zooplankton that wash up when the water comes here, bringing them their twice a day meals. And you can see they're really anchored in tight. This is important because the waves get pretty grim around here, especially in the winter. Here we've got a tide pool with some green sea anemones in it. A pretty common sight along the Pacific coast tidal pools. When the water dries up and they're anchored to the rocks, they close up so that they don't dry out. If you look carefully around the corner of this tide pool, you can see a sea star. Now, when I was growing up, we called these fellas starfish. I guess that sea star is a more appropriate name for them. I'll try to get a better shot of this critter. And they are the natural predators of some of these mollusks. They are strong as well. They can wrap their arms around the shells, not of these barnacles, but of mussels, prying them open. That is a two-finger rule here. If you can't take something off with two fingers, it wants to stay, so leave it alone. But here I see a sea star who's not attached firmly at all. Let's take a look. He's holding onto some pebbles, and he's got these little eye there. We're not going to touch that. That will hurt the sea star. The sea stars are interesting. We've all seen them, it's unfortunate, dried in souvenir shops. They are sort of the top of the food chain in a tide pool because nothing can eat them when they're stuck to a rock. With tide pools, the more you look, the more you see. I was standing here talking about sea star, and right behind me were these. These are chitons. They look prehistoric. They look like trilobites. They move around, grazing on algae, and they tend to come back to the same place at night. These tube worms, because it's low tide right now, are in their tubes. These aren't the actual worms. These are their homes that they build. During high tide, they come out. They look a little bit like small sea anemones. They wave like that, catching plankton, siphoning their food. And they're called feather duster tube worms because they look a little bit like the feather dusters with the handle and the duster. And here is that starfish again, doing fine. If you look carefully at the shells, if one is moving faster than a snail ought to, it's probably hermit crab. Can we see this? It's pretty cute as far as crabs go. And, hermit crabs don't grow their own shells, so they have to find an empty shell, move into it. Bald eagle.